and welcome in. My name is Eli. I am your oracle as we here at Mayday begin to embark on our new live stream series, Heroes of the Doom, an Inevitable Tale. Heroes of the Doom is coming from Soul Muppet Publishing, a Arthurian Western set to explore heroes who set out to face an inevitable and impossible event known as a doom. What that doom is hard to say. We will have to find that as our narrative progresses. These are solo sessions, an opportunity to meet members of our cadre, get to know them in earlier years when maybe prophecy was beginning and our future set in stone. This is an opportunity also for our players to have a moment to get to look at a very unique system in which we set up this narrative collectively as one unit, telling stories with the freedom of not having to worry about things like perception checks and skill checks. We work together to find something that is narratively satisfying. So you will also get an opportunity to work through those new horizons with members of Mayday here today. Our sessions here are also under the guidance of safety tools, as this, as always, is a mature show centric around tragedy, failure, and violence and other adult themes. So, as always, please be sure to take care of yourself and know that our team is under the safety and guidance of safety tools, and X card can be employed at any time. So with that, let us begin. Blessed is the Taleweaver, for they are the keepers of truth. There is a lot of power in words, and how we are remembered is by those words. Our history is foundational to how we tell those stories, how we sing those songs. And it is by the power of tale weavers who have collected in unison to tell these songs, to be keepers of truth, to make sure things live on. And things must live on, because the doom is coming for us. Day rises in the east, and the sun washes gold upon myth. The city is stacked high, all the way centric to the castle that looms over the barren waste around. And as the city comes alive, these ebbing and flowing of people, all with their own story, all with their own songs, beginning their day just like anybody else, from the king above us to the lowest of paupers in the Blue District. But as the sun rises on another day, it rises from the Taleweaver. Caleb, please introduce and describe Cecil and what one might be doing in these moments when the sun is on the rise?
Cecil Odera, also known as the Inscribe, is approaching his 40s and just starting to peak the first few splotches, strands of gray in this pompadoured, pomaded hair. It is maybe the first piece of disarray in a very curated man. And I think that he's very upset internally that it's starting to show, but he's attributing it everywhere to stress. The stress has not made it to his face. For as old as he's getting, for as close to middle age as he feels, it doesn't begin to show. And he keeps a beautiful appearance, attractive man with very well-kempt stubble where he routinely shaves. He wears a performance of makeup across his face, concealer to hide blemishes, imperfections, small eyeshadow across the eyes to highlight, and dresses well to his seat. He takes the position of Inscribe very seriously, in that he wants everyone to know that he is one, not in his performance. He wears a well-curated suit with a royal blue vest that is muted by years of use. It's well-worn, but well-fashionable. He carries a pearl bolo tie across his collar that depicts a pearl flower with an anatomical heart at its center. It extends down into the vest itself. He wears a large shotgun frock coat that oversees everything else in a nice powdered gray that extends into high riding chaps and well-cleaned boots. Boots that look as though they've never seen action. And that's probably true. Cecil carries himself with an air of importance, but one that is approachable. You know that he's important, but he doesn't want you to feel that that's going to stop you from a good conversation. He carries spurs on the back of those well-kept boots, and with every step, there is a musical tone, almost like tuning forks, that play with each new venture for Cecil. I think that he is making his way towards the center of the city. He's playing court the best he can, trying to keep up appearances, trying to keep morale high, which is maybe the best thing he could be doing, given the circumstances of this new climate the city is involved in. And he is trying desperately to put on a performance for the city itself, while inside turmoil is brewing. His mind is a flurry of thoughts, of solutions, of connections, of branches between all of the things that are going on. He's trying to solve it all before it all unravels, but trying to keep a brave face for everyone else involved.
And as you meander through the halls and walls of court, as you pass over washes of so many faces, you inevitably find your way to a threshold. And when you cross over on that threshold after taking a beat to take stock of what is beyond, or is a very unique experience, for there are many experiences when one faces war, because it comes in multitudes. And as you stand off in the distance, riding in, you will see those multitudes in the thousands. Errants, soldiers, mystics, all collected here in a field, all with these multicolored tents that surround the borders that collect these multitudes, places for one to take a load off their feet, to hide from, to shade, maybe even, if they're lucky, to rustle up some grub. You will hear the sound of many horses, anxious in their corrals, stamping at the ground, snorting with the knowledge of looming danger. You've arrived at the encampment in which you have heard word from all the way at court that Malavan has left the safety of the borders of the city and have joined his men here at this encampment when heard word that the cannibal saint has moved and marched upon the border forts. You can easily ride into camp and join this multitudes, seeing again washes of so many faces. Try to remember them as much as you can. Collect and take stock of everything that you see. But as you press on, where does one go when they first arrive here?
I think that the first thing on Cecil's mind is spending some time in the mess hall, in the closest thing that runs for, a campfire, where the gathering forces are preparing themselves. Obviously, Malavan is the first thing on his mind, but he's also considering that whatever this is going to be is going to decide so many things about the world we're about to be in. Cecil is concerned for all of the forces that are surrounding Malavan and how they will be involved and how they'll perform. And so I think he makes a stop. I think he pours some drinks for everyone involved. I think that he plays almost rumor police, because God knows the second that anyone hears that Malavan is actually approaching the front lines, there are about 1 million things that are said and none of them are correct. And so I think Cecil just wants to make sure the troops on the front line have their story straight, or at least a story that sounds straight enough to hide the truth. So I think the first thing he's going to do is stop by and keep morale high.
I think something like that, especially for the multitudes here, morale is hard to keep high when there's thousands upon thousands. But one nice little ripple could make all the difference, and might even be enough to keep things going as battle is on the horizon. So with that, I think that is challenge worthy. So we are going to build a dice pool here for our challenge here.
Okay.
So with that, do you have a reputation that you feel would support you in these endeavors?
I think here beloved makes a lot of sense, just because anyone can roll into town and say they have a grasp on anything that's going on. But I think Cecil genuinely is looked to as a force in the city, as like a force for good, but even more so a force for, speaking the king's language to a peasant's point of view. Cecil has no sort of qualms with sharing what the actual people in the room where it happens has to say and what they're up to. And so I think that's gained him a reputation of shooting straight and being good to everyone involved. So I think here it's, these swaths of people who have heard and have an awareness just how much more important this fight has become, and now just desperately want answers, and Cecil's there to give them.
Excellent, I love that. Do you have any equipment that will also support you here? I will also consider any words of power that you might have to be amongst those equipment.
I think maybe his charcoal and vellum here. I think that Cecil since he set out, since him and Viscount began the ride into the battle, Cecil has been riding on horseback. He has put pen to paper since they left. And, the writing is shaky, but the words are good. And I think he's transcribing what will inevitably be a very important piece for him. That years later, people will look back on and speak of his being his second most important work. And so I think that the charcoal and vellum adds into this as he's talking to everyone, they can see that he's writing. And as long as Cecil's writing, there's at least some positive to this, because there will be a history to talk about this later.
I love that. So take another d6. So with that, I will not invoke any retractions to your pool, given that this is something that you do often,
Okay.
whether that be at court or otherwise. So roll me 2d6, and let's see what results we get.
I have a 4.
4 is going to be a we're going to kind of succeed, but there is going to be a little bit of complication here. You'll suffer a bit of a consequence. So even you are well received here, beloved you are, and there is a bit of notable changes in mood as you try to reach out to as many as possible. You're right in the assumption that when you are writing here to build the song in which you are going to inevitably sing, people feel at ease with the notion that songs will be told here today. And maybe, just maybe, if they're lucky enough, they will be a part of that, a part of history, the thing that will be memorialized for generations to come. But what does consequence look here? Where do we fall short in this coming of morale?
I could see it two ways. The first is, I think that maybe this gets back to the royal court, and someone within the court takes umbrage with the fact that Cecil is so quick to tell what is going on and to spill truth to anyone who will listen. And so maybe it harms the opinion of Cecil within the court by some important individual. The other I was thinking is that maybe it does galvanize them and promise them that it will be worth it to put forth their full effort, but maybe they understand that this is a song that's going to end up being a tragedy. Maybe they're thinking that my presence here is not nearly as comforting as it should be, but that makes their job even more important. So I could see it either way. I think it's up to our narrator here.
Like consequences that happen in the long term.
I do too.
I think that you here in this moment allow errants and mystics and soldiers find that steadiness. A little bit of joy in troubling times do go a long way. And if anything, while they may not write songs and stories, they will at least remember you and what you offered here before the battle has begun. I think it is not terribly long after you spend as much time with these individuals, you hear the beckoning horns that are reserved for a king. And it turns heads and it silences all the noise around you that dulls into tapered silences, steady whispers, and glances from side to side. You can feel the thrumming of excitement in the hearts of individuals. But even in that thrum of hope, you can know that there are definitely cadences of fear that are mixed into it. What brings a king from his throne to serve alongside his men? As noble as that is, we know that kings are legacy, and their word and their will and their sacrifice to not be a part of these kinds of affairs is for the betterment, or so we hope, the betterment for not only those on the battlefield, but for those who wait at home, who are in need of this protection. And you see the procession of them as they move towards a central tent. You will see Malavan, weathered by age, and yet still maintain a level of fitness, though as many kings could easily give way to the softness that comes with time. Malavan seems always prepared for this, as if he knew that this was something he was destined to do, and kept his sword well attended to for a battle such as this. But as he, not wearing a crown, but wearing armor, he dismounts from his steed and enters in along with many advisors and the generals of war here, both of the Mystic Order, of the Errant Order, and those elves who are needed in this event. As you see them enter, do we stay with the men here and continue to bolster the morale, or shall we put our ears towards more inner affairs?
I think that the moment that trumpet sounded, that Cecil is completely one-track mind toward now tending to the king. So I think he puts his hands up. He addresses the crowd that's been burgeoning around this campfire as he's been drinking and talking with them and saying, well, it's been a pleasure with all y'all. It's so good to see all your faces, and I just want you to understand, when we get out there, things are going to change, and the world's going to change, but God, it does that every day, and it's going to keep doing that every day until we tell it to stop. His presence here, it might mean a lot, it might mean little, it might mean nothing to you, but I want you to understand that regardless of his presence here, we all have a job here to do, and the world's going to keep turning. Be good. And then I think he takes off those tuning fork spurs hitting the ground as he boots off, Viscount carrying with him his beautiful horse by the reins as he walks through the mud up towards that central tent to have a meeting with Malavan.
You walk into this tent, and there are, in that moment, as a bright light disturbs this soft darkness and casts this hard light that scatters many shadows across this tent, you'll see lingering eyes moving, noting your presence, including Malavan, who looks up just enough to give a notable acknowledgement to your presence, but he is busy, settled with tasks of setting up what will be this battle as he converses with the generals. But you are able to nestle towards the back here to be that fly on the wall, that bird perch to listen to what is being spoken here. You'll hear Sir Levere, who has a long brown hair, but tied up to keep out of the face, wearing armor here. he is the first to really break the air as the longer you sit, tension seems to be brewing. While Malavan is the central focus and he's speaking and all are listening, you can tell that concern is rising and it is stagnating the air around it. And with each word that Malavan speaks, the tension just rises and rises. And it's Sylvere who is the first to speak. And he says, "Forgive me, my lord, my king. I, in good conscience, given the road ahead, must protest in the act of your presence here. You have told no one at court that this was the obligation you set us here to enact your will in faith. And I would be not an honorable man if I didn't at least wonder why you would dispatch us to handle the cannibal saint, but not trust us to do it in your stead, and now that you are here." Malavan takes in that response. And in maybe a different situation, maybe if this was in front of the members of court, if this was any other day than this, that this would be considered fairly dishonorable for a knight to be so brash and question the will of a king. But with Malavan scanning the room, very temperamental individual, he can see the resonation in every one's eyes. And with that, Malavan stands up as he was leaning over the map of the battlefield and where all the intended troops will be scattered towards. And he sits up and he looks at all of you and he says, "I truly would not be a king if I did not be willing to, like all of you, step up and acknowledge. I am not ignorant in hearing of the words of the battle of the Lumbering Shrine, in which we have already lost so many, including the Rock Weaver, and more dispatches come in of lives lost, of ceaseless violence. And this will continue on if we do not take more action. And while I have faith in all of you, I think this is an obligation more for a king. I will meet the cannibal saint in battle. I will bring peace to not only Myth, but to the rest of the barren waste. I think this is the destiny we have all been reaching for a prosperous future." Voices, while maybe not satiated by such declarations, do not bring further challenge, as then eventually this conversation returns back to notable logistics of battle as you sit in on all of that. And eventually this meeting will come to an end. Advisors and generals leaving tent to enact the next steps, and Malavan, with a steady amount of individuals, is still here in the tent. Perfect time for conversation if one is reaching for insight.
Yeah, I think that Cecil does take the opportunity to be with the king now that so much of the strategy has subsided. Not that he doesn't want to play an ample part in that, but more so that he understands how much of this is personal on Malavan's level and how much of this is massive play on his part from Cecil's point of view. So I think that he waits for an opportune moment. He approaches, he gives a deep bow to King Malavan, and announces himself in full title, but breaks up halfway through to recognize that they're in no way in a king's throne room anymore. Excuse me, King, do you think we could have some private counsel, you and I?
There's a moment in which, head bowed slightly, of eyes averted gaze here when you make such a request. It is met with a very strong hand on the shoulder. And then when you bring your gaze up to Malavan, it is framed with this level of maybe gentleness would be the best word in his face, a small smile, the kind of smile that just seeps hope into the heart and into the belly, one that seems happy to see you, even though you probably have never really had much opportunity for in-depth conversation, maybe just the occasional passing of conversation, or just your notable presence at court when you tell your songs, sing your songs and tell your tales to entertain the masses. And Malavan says, "Thank you for being here."
Well, thank you for having me, King. It's a great pleasure to be here, my lord.
Tell me, Cecil, your family name comes with quite a reputation in itself. How many of your fathers have come to serve the Court of Myth?
Oh, I think that I would technically qualify as the 5th in the line to have served in royal court. The Oderas have a history of telling the stories of, well, people like you.
So I've heard. Even my father and his father's father has mentioned the House of Odera as one fit to frame history as it is.
We carry a certain reputation among us. Some of us think we're a little spooky, but it's all reputation. And it's been an honor to serve your court, no matter the position. Such an honor, in fact, that I think that this occasion has definitely sparked some involvement between you and me. I think you must know that what you're doing here, what is about to happen, needs to be recorded.
Of course, which is why I reached out to you.
Yeah. I'm happy for the opportunity, but I worry. Your message, when I initially received your missive, listen, I've written, I must be in the hundreds of books by now. I've given more interviews than I can count. I've talked more bullshit in the back of bars than I can remember, for more reasons than one, and I could spit with the best of them. So I can read tone. I could read yours, my lord. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that I was worried.
I think I would question you greatly if you were not worried. I think I have set much worry as he looks to the tent entrance, just simply for being here.
Yeah, well, they're worried for entirely different reasons. They're thinking you're gonna rush out there and get stabbed by thousands of those cannibals in a big circle and call out your name into the legend and myth on your way out. I'm worried for a whole host of different reasons. Listen, I can see where you're going with this. I can understand your involvement here, let alone past what you just told them. To be a king and to take service, that, of course, is a reason to be here. But I see it from all angles. You're right that being here strikes a strategic advantage. It draws him out and makes sure that he'll be here. You're hoping to lop off the viper at its neck. And that's admirable, obviously, but even more so, you're hoping to draw destiny to one particular spot like lightning hitting through the storm right at the point you made. But past that, this has to be something with your personal story, right? Not all of this can be done for the will of the people. You have a vested interest in him. Tell me, can you honestly speak to me and say that this doesn't have some level of vendetta? Of righteousness, of relative?
You do your homework. Find things in the weeds.
Yeah.
I wish that there was not a personal interest in it. Maybe there is a bit of vendetta about it. Long is time and history, and it does rub us all the wrong way in the end. And I wish it was as easy as that. I think it would be simple to add that to the story. That this is simply a brother who wishes to face a brother to end conflict for a better future. But it can be that. It can be the fact that we lost Release. And Release is the city that is adjacent to Myth. And all those people there was once a vibrant place. And he will tell you that the lumbering shrine in which the Rockweaver gave his life for easily took that city of Release. Things must end for a better future. And the cannibal state must fall. And as I pursue the future and consult with it, it seems that this might be the only way.
I agree. I think that fate is converging in every path, like a compass running backwards to its center. I think we're all supposed to be here. I think those soldiers' boots are itching to burn. You can smell it in the air like ozone. But the only thing I'm not sold on is what is actually going to happen at that point where the lightning strikes. Do you really think you're coming? Do you really think you're pulling this off?
He sits there in a contemplation, just for a moment. And there's just a small smile that eventually pulls on his face. Pulling it off will not matter. I think that all that matters is whatever, that regardless of the result, myth will endure. And it is only endures when there are those who are willing to raise their sword for it. We all will have that moment. You'll have that moment. It's my moment.
I understand. I see it. I see it for what it is. You're a great big catalyst to change today, and everyone gets their one. Can I ask you another question? I know I'm stealing your time, but...
Please, we have the time.
You and your brother. What's that like? You two? Before, during, after? What does it look like to be on either side of an ending you both wrote together?
I think is as easy as breathing and as complicated as living. I think there was a time where two brothers ran through the streets of a city with nothing but a future that wasn't set in stone. And like all good stories, actions are taken and consequences doled, and in the end, we stand in opposition of each other. And I would give 1,000,000 lifetimes to tell a better story, to sing a better song. A jest of anything to know that this here not be a story of just a brother striking down another brother, but a sacrifice made out of goodwill, and dare I say love, for something I wish we could have reached together.
Thank you for being so candid with me. I know this is not easy. It's never easy. I feel like I've written so many pieces about you over the years, and none of them will hold any weight to this sort of a conversation. None of them really knew you either way. Lord, if this should come to pass that you serve as a catalyst and do not meet me for an exit interview, what do you pass on to myth? What do you want them to know? What do you want to say? Who do I give it to?
He's gonna stand up from his desk and he's going to walk over to you. Again, a strong hand on the shoulder, almost causing you to skip the moment of which you've been diligently writing, so that he can just tell this to you straight. Give it to the people. Tell them that the future is ours to make. That we are more than just song. In the end, what we do for others is our greatest legacy, and my legacy.
I think that's beautiful. I think it'll make a mighty fine speech.
I feel you will find the right words to put it much more eloquently than I.
Oh, King, I would never go about rewriting your genius. I only do direct quotes. You know that. Come on now.
Well, I look forward to seeing what you make of all of this.
For what it's worth, I don't see it for anything other than what it is. You doing your absolute best to do right by the people you love. At the largest, a group of people who ask the world of you every second of theirs. And at its smallest, as a brother running through the city, wondering what tomorrow's like. I don't pretend to know what it's like. I don't pretend to have an understanding of what the world desires of a king. I'm not fucking interested. But as far as they go, you were good to us. Are good to us. Sorry, I just got the worst feeling about all this. It's leaking out into everything I'm saying. You are good to us. And this will be where the lightning strikes.
Malavan will squeeze that shoulder. You guys will have this moment in which you guys just kind of nod your head at one another at silent resolve. I hope you remain in court for generations to come.
As long as you're serving, and Odera will be at your side. I've still got a few more decades before they talk about me like I'm dead.
He chuckles at that, and you feel that last bit of warm resonance of laughter as he takes his hand off your shoulder as he walks towards the tent flap. And there's just that one last look back before you see him exit.
I think that Cecil takes a second to look about the tent that he's left him in and sit down with the charcoal and vellum and his tools, take out a fresh sheet alongside everything that he took down from the actual interview. And he'll first sketch the room and try and capture the way that the king was sitting and the way his eyes averted and all of the details that he can hastily. And he's not an artist by any means more than he is a writer. But he does this and then follows that up by spitting out passage after passage of his internal perspective of what just happened between the two of them. And he gets those first 3 passages down, which take up a huge part of the scroll. And then halfway through a sentence, he stops. He curses, he drops his charcoal, he grabs a brand new stick, and then goes to the top of that scroll and writes in big, scrawling letters, almost as though he's having a premonition of sorts, as though something is coursing through his body. His eyes sort of glaze over and he looks off into the front, just past the chair that the king occupied. And he writes down in big, scrawling cursive, The Final Breath of Malavan by Cecil Odera, which years from now will be the title to his second most important work. And then I think he picks himself up, he stuffs that back into his saddlebag, and he prepares himself for walking out into the rest. But again, that wave of nausea hits him, of morose gas that is seeping into the air. And he wipes away a tear that he's found welling in his eye. We can't really discern what feeling is bringing it on, but something is off in his gut. And he proceeds through back into the fray.
This is a perfect time, I think, to segue into what would be a showdown.
Okay.
This is the climax of this, and of this story. We will tell the tale of the Battle of the Violet Fields, and you will collect the knowledge needed to remember this in song. So first, when we do a showdown, we need to discuss what is cost. You and I both know that we cannot change the events that will happen here today, but what costs would be for a tale weaver who tells the truth of what happened here at the Battle of the Violet Fields?
I think... I'm kind of between two of them again, which I guess is a trend for me. I can see it going two ways. Maybe you can help me confine one.
Of course.
The first is that maybe it changes the reputation of Cecil following what happens at the battle. Just to put that in perspective of like, up until now, he's been seen as a member of the Odera clan, of that family, but mainly as a playboy, as someone who is enjoying his frivolity, enjoying his riches, enjoying his stories, enjoying being a part of the court, but he likes the parties more than he does the strategy meetings. And, you know, for the most part, most of his novels have been about that sort of life. And this could be the turning point where Cecil Odera, the end scribe, comes into being, which that reputation, that new persona around this piece of literature could shape a lot of people into see him as someone who sows panic and is portending something massive. And so former, beloved playboy is now seen as a doomsday prophet based off of all of this. The other, I'm blanking on my other one. I had another one. Who knows? That's what I got.
Well, I feel like fate has decided what this cost is going to be if you don't have an alternative. I think a challenge to your reputation, maybe becoming a more foreboding individual or something along those lines, might definitely be worth the cost. I love that. All right. I accept your cost. Yes. Oh,
I remembered what the other one was.
Remembered it? Oh, well.
I don't... Well, let's see if you like this any better, nerd.
Yeah, no, I'm here for the option.
The other is, It's still against my reputation, so still the heart of it. I don't know why I like giving myself a questionable reputation every game I play, but let's do this. The other is perhaps people think he's lying. Perhaps this was a private meeting between him and King Malavan. He swears this was all said. He has a reputation of being a very truthful individual despite some embellishments, like the king was joking about. But maybe this is the first time people think he's bullshitting. And so he is calling out what he believes to be the next step of the future. And there is a dissenting group of individuals within the city. Maybe it's not everyone, but it's definitely vocal enough. Say, hey, I think he's fucking lying. I don't think the king said any of that. It's all hearsay. I think both of them are fun. I think both of them give me a funky little reputation, whether it's spooky or bullshitty. Both are pretty attributable to Cecil.
I think, in the grander scheme of things, being called a liar is far worse than being a doomsayer. A doomsinger. Many will sing the doom. So I think in the end, the greatest consequence is not only a mistrust in court, but a mistrust in how others see such a beloved individual, especially if you plan to share truth. And sometimes we do not like or want to hear said truths. I love that. So give me a D1. That D1 is what you're going to use. I have set your threshold of what this threat is. And with your 1 fear dice, you have knocked down a little bit so that you have a nice little neat target number to reach.
So when you say D1...
You are going to be rolling 1d1, and I'm going to give you 1d6, and then I am going to give you a modifier to add to that d6, and we're going to see where we sit on that roll. I am going to give you, for this, given how well the conversation with Malavan went, and the cost, I will give you a +3 to your roll.
Holy shit. Okay.
So, roll me a d6, add that mod, let me know what your result is.
I rolled a 6, so 9.
3. Interesting. The threat level to this quest was an 8, which means that you beat the threshold and you have succeeded with no cost, no consequence. Excellent. So I will say that despite the questionable knowledge that you were given, or whether or not not necessarily questionable, but more of a distaste for the truth. While it may not necessarily make people happy about it, there is still a more collective resonance that trusts not only your family name, but you. Therefore, the Inscribe will not be blemished in reputation in any way and will be able to continue their work unimpeded or hindered by it. But what you see, the moment you walk through that, it's almost like a blur. War is kind of like that, where you just get to spend and almost linger as if there's just an infinite amount of time in one moment. But when the charge is at hand, when the trumpets sound, when two forces collide on the battlefield, it almost seems as if the world speeds up and you are just spending all of that time writing, showing or writing, taking note, making whatever in margins that you need to try to collect as much as your eyes are seeing, and you do see nothing more than carnage, the flinging of spells and the swinging of swords and the crying of men and the dying of men. You see every inch of it. all the way down until almost as like a stage at the center of this play. At the right climactic moment, you see both Cannibal Saint, who just in this moment just feels like just a foreboding shadow with a crown upon his head. You don't even realize that you're not even taking note of his face or any other residual detail. It's all about Malavon and how he sits in this. It's all about the exchange of blows and the sounds of all of the battle going on behind it. And then it happens in an instance. It's as simple as just a parry of a sword and a lunge in and a striking blow. As you just see from that distance, from a perch, from wherever you find safest to take this battle in. Watch as that sword is pulled, as there's blood that just coats the entire length of steel, as knees are dropped to floor, and Malavon is laid to the ground. And then again, an even swifter sweep of this. You will watch errant knights come to arms to protect their king. You will watch this battle momentum shift in a way that pushes the Cannibal Saint. And there is always in the moment as you're just staring at that scene of one of the errant knights holding and gripping onto the king here. As everything ceases, you will eventually see the pushing back and the retreating of the Cannibal Saint. You don't even know amongst that fray if the Cannibal Saint is here. There's just so much going on, and all you are just focused on is that moment, just burning it into your mind, getting every last detail of it. And the rest of those details will come later when you can review the notes. But that is the thing you take away the most. And eventually all of this noise that just almost seems to be deafening in the sound reaches a point in which it gets so loud it's almost silence. The next we find ourselves in the story, it's raining. And there is a procession that starts in the lower districts and moves its way up to the castle. This procession is that of a coffin, and the following of people behind it, soaked in the rain, giving space when this procession moves down streets, so that this coffin can reach its final destination. It will return to the castle. It will be carried by six and placed where all can see. You will be amongst the crowd here in the inner court, who are privy to sit at the wake of this king. You will see the queen standing there, head as held high as one can be in grief, but with child King Rubain clinging to her dress here, maybe not even understanding the full gravity of the situation, but there sits before us the future of our city. You will hear the words of Godsmen offer comfort in times of darkness here, and you can still hear the pattering of the rain above you as they speak. You will see the wash of many errant knights who are standing at attention to watch over over this funeral. You will see the mystics all sitting quietly, listening to these words. You will see the multitudes of faces all around you. And as the funeral continues, and as things press on and the story continues, there is an interruption that catches your ear, and it pushes you to the door in the back that is currently closed as this funeral is continuing. But you can hear the sound of conflict, the pulling and drawing of swords, because I am here. And the doors will eventually open, and it will make such a noise that deafens this place as the Godsman's words fall short. and this procession silences. You will see the men of Carcass lead in front of me. Men of iron, men of salt, men of rust who carry swords in their hands. The silence is only interrupted by the sound of my feet, the clicking of talons against stone steps as I move through the aisleway here. I am a foreboding bird, one with eyes that see beyond this moment, one that knows all, one that has seen things and people bend their ear to it. You'll see the feathers on my neck and my face, the beak that protrudes from my face. And as I continue to walk down this aisleway, I am met by the errants of myth, those who come to protect their legacy. And I am about to speak. But when I do, I realize, and I look to you. I've been telling this story time and time again. Don't you think we've told this story enough?
I'm sorry.
Don't you think we have told this story enough? How many times must I read prophecy, burn one's eyes on a future I have already said will become so? How many times must I say it?
As many times as it takes. I guess it depends on the ending. Why don't you take a break? You could pass it off.
What a tempting offer. Who would take my place? For this prophecy has been told by not I, but many. All the oracles sing the same song, and you know those words well. Committed to heart, no?
Yeah, I might know a few.
So, who would take my place? Who will tell this story?
I think it has to be me.
You?
It's all they've ever told me. And one day I'd know. Someone in my family would know, and I can't say that this feels like anything other than that. So yeah, if you want a break, we'll switch off.
You will watch the contemplation. Your eyes still looking at you. You will not tell this story. you will tell the next story. The next story can't be told until mine is told. So you will be there as I tell it. And you will collect everything. Because the knights may die, and the mights may fall, but those who flee, well, they will escape this prophecy. So if you wish to take this mantle, if you wish to give me a break, you will do this task, and then you will leave myth to its fate. Do you accept that, Taleweaver?
I tell this last story and then I'll leave? Yeah. Fine.
Well, then we have some stories to tell, don't we?
I guess we do. I'm so sorry. I don't think I caught your name. I'll need it for the story.
Simply call me the Oracle of Carcass. And if you ever need me, you may find me there.
Okay.
I look forward to the songs you will sing.